And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We finally begin. It's Guts Gaming versus T1, our first matchup, and it is a classic Japan versus Korea here in APAC North. We're on the desk. I'm Milosh, your host. With me are Jess, our analyst, and Derry, who's stepping in on the analysis desk. As you'll see, rotations all through the day for analyst in this segment. Guys, what is the story for this one? I think we kind of put it forward in the beginning. Changes, but can they work? What do you think?
You've just basically given us a storyline there, Milosh.
Well,
you answered your own. A host that does the job of the analyst as well is what you want. It's a one-man show now. You can take it all.
He's a big brain.
See you later, matey. No, he is. He's a darling, bless him. You are absolutely right, though. It is about the changes in this game. Again, it's the first one of the season. Anyone coming in saying, oh, well, we can predict how this will go. You can't really, because we haven't seen them play each other in such a long time. There's changes coming into the rosters. I do want to talk a little bit about their last game, which we will do in a while, but ultimately, it's a fresh slate for both teams.
Changes galore, and that changes everything, not just for a team, the playstyle, the meta, the operators they bring, the roles. There is so much that gets changed when you bring in players, not just one, but for one of the teams, 2 whole changes and a backline change, and possibly a leadership change. That's big.
It definitely is. And you talk about operator, we want to remind everybody that Flores is now available in competitive play. Of course, been available in your everyday games for quite a bit now, but now this is how things are. We have around that 2 or 3 months probation time before he's entered in. I cannot wait to theorycraft about all that happens. Let's see what goes through the first couple play days here. First of all, let's talk about our rosters, and specifically T1 in this case. We'll bring them up on the screen, our Korean squad, and see what they have.
We are the squad.
We are now the squad.
That's it.
Load up.
I have to do this.
Yeah.
There it is. So, Ms. Bolden.
Yes. Oh, I've got to say it. You know, the player with the 1 rating technically doesn't have a 1 rating. I'm just going to throw it out there. Neilio does not have any actual real statistics to go off of properly, and it's just going to have that infinite rating. Yeah, we're going to throw it out there. But what he will bring to the team now that he is in the roster is a huge wealth of experience. This player has been throughout Mantis FPS in the glory days of the Korean Siege. That is someone to respect. Unfortunately, he's coming into a team that, as you can see in the round performance, has had one of the worst seasons you could possibly have. We're not going to, sugarcoat it. That's the realism of it. They can only go up from here, is what I said. I'm hoping I don't curse that, but Crazy Boy has been added as well, and I think a lot of people will forget him, but he was on Scars when we first started APAC North, and he was doing a couple of things like crazy Carly plays and stuff like that, so he did some really odd operators and roles, and that kind of flexibility would be really good for a player coming into a team that needs refreshing.
All right, and their opponents, of course, are Japanese squad. It is Guts Gaming. Both of these teams were not at Invitational. They look to change that maybe for next year.
Yeah, the man in the middle is the one that you're probably going to be most excited about, seeing Mariu stepping back in again, that experience that he brings, the international heights that he has stepped to before, joining a team that didn't strictly play badly before. These guys were very much in the mix, stomped over a good few teams last stage, didn't quite get towards that top 2 spot. All the conversation was on Cloud9 and on Cyclops, but personally quite excited to see what this change can bring in for them. The big player to look at being Yura, although being completely honest, across the whole squad, every single one of them had a 1.0 or greater rating, so everyone was contributing. It's just about whether or not that continues into this stage, or better yet, improves with the addition of a new player.
Quite excited to see. Of course, you see him wearing that old Norengo jersey.
Yeah.
That's from the olden days. Everybody remembers. That is, and I think without a doubt, the best team APAC has ever produced. Went, deep into semis for Invitational in 2018. They had to defeat Fnatic in the quarterfinals to move through. Everybody was sad that, hey, it had to happen. Oh, actually, 2019, excuse me. Yeah. So there it is. They're all jumbled together. There's just so many SIs in my head, right? It just goes through. But there it is. Those are the teams that are competing against one another, but our head-to-head is up next. 2 players, 1 from each one of these teams. Let's see what our analysts picked for this one and their reasoning for it. Here they are. It is Yura and 11. What is the comparison, Mr. Holt?
Go to me first. You could be Mr. Hot if you wanted to be. The big one here, really, being completely honest, right, we picked out the best rated players from both teams in this case, and you'll see this running throughout the day, just to show you what the top-end performance of either side looks like. What I think you've got to remember for T1 is they were 0 and 7. They didn't win a game, yet 11 was still putting out the kind of performance he was that Jess will shine onto in a minute. For Yura on the other side, a bit more of a comfortable run for Guts. The kind of numbers that he was putting up there, plus 17 on the KD, for example, the 1.14 rating, both on similar roles, a massive impact for this team. team.
That's the biggest storyline for it. And again, I'm going to touch on the point that every one of these deaths that I'll be running today will have the highest rated players, because I'll come back to it at the end of the stage and say, hey, did they keep that top dog spot or not? Did they continue to have that top rated player? You don't usually expect it, but I do expect 11 out of all of the players, out of all of the teams throughout APAC North to be the kind of player that does hold that top dog spot. So that will be the one that I'm looking out for.
Quite excited then to see, but is there anybody else to look at from these teams outside of these two players? You talked about some leadership position. We talked about the changes in rosters as well, and in the background potentially for some of them. Anything else that jumps to mind?
Big one for me that jumps out is, again, looking across those ratings for a brief second. Across T1, 11's on 1.04. The next closest was Revy. He was 0.75.
Yep.
Got dropped. They replaced him, he's gone. Same with Vamos as well. They were the two players who, interestingly, the last time these two teams played, it was 7-2 on Clubhouse. They got a 3K and a 4K respectively in the 2 rounds they won.
Yep.
That was all T1 brought to the table. There was nothing else to really show in that game overall. So on paper, you look at it and say their best two players in the last game are now gone. What does that mean? Gives time for players like Neilio to really step up and make a big difference. But looking back at that Clubhouse game, there's got to be big changes.
Huge changes. I don't know about the backline. I'm a little bit worried because you remember back to Vamos, who was playing the smoke role, a little bit of ace on attack. That's the kind of role that we're looking towards. We want Neilio to fill that, because generally you'll have players that take the IGL role as a result of being a support player. They direct the flow of the game. That's how they like to run things. I'm hoping that's what they'll do, rather than just throwing. Remember, they were throwing players at teams and hoping that would fix the problem. I'm hoping they've changed that, a little bit more structure.
All right, let's see which map we're going to be playing on, where they can actually apply that structure to and those changes. Again, it is a 7-map pool.
Okay.
And the Clubhouse will be our decider in this one. Of course, we still run best of one with overtime in it.
Don't say that word.
Sorry, my apologies.
Guts Gaming will ban out Cafe Dostoevsky to take us to Clubhouse. Map we touched on. Derry, do you want to really hammer the nail in?
They start an attack, same as they did last time again. Only 2 rounds went the way of T1. There has got to be more reliance on more of the team element, I think, for T1 than on 1 or 2 players having a multi-killing around and just running away with it, right? It sounds obvious, and that's because it is for T1. I really want to see the cohesion coming out here. Crazy Boy and Neilio, they've both been playing since 2017. They have got buckets of experience in the game. Admittedly, I think Neilio hasn't played for a good while now, right? I think a year or two, 2019 was when he last played. There is a little bit of kind of a catching up piece to do for him, I think, but I'm praying with that experience, the same as Mary on the other side, that you're going to see a much more composed game out of these two teams.
I was looking over to some of the Guts statistics here and just going, okay, they really like to play Clubhouse, but statistically not one of their best maps to play in the past 6 months or so. You're not going to go too far back, might not be relevant, especially with the roster changes. So I do think, okay, they like to play it quite a lot. That bodes really well for them because they're going to be confident. How confident, however, considering they've got a 50-50 on whether or not they're going to even win the map. You could toss your coin again, Milosh, and decide whether or not they win it. That's how 50-50 a lot of their stats have been on this particular map.
Dev Marta just posted something. The Bearing 9 has been buffed. Maria rejoins comp. Coincidence? I think not. I completely agree, my friend.
The only reason he's come back, obviously. 100%.
I mean, if he's going to play Habana Echo.
Why not?
It is a bit of a laser now. And think about what some teams in APAC were doing. They're running the Supernova Primary. Like, why not?
That was actually back in the Norengo days. They were the ones playing it on Consulate in those days with the Supernova Bearing 9.
I can't really say it's a great choice.
I was going to say.
Why not? Right. I don't know it's that strong a call, but
it's
on
APAC.
CCTV and even bottom floor, you can do that. You can be the one that goes, I don't need a smoke in this particular area because I'm not going to run it. I mean, they're therefore going to bring an Echo instead, and then you can have all the bit of destruction that you need from the Supernova.
That's what used to happen.
It can be viable. It depends on the strategy.
Those were the days when Jess used to coach, so you can tell. It's been a while.
It's been a long time. I'm washed
Someone
up now.
earlier on referred to it as a streamer, and I was like, you're not even an ex-coach anymore.
Yeah, I'm not an ex-coach.
You're not a caster.
I'm not an ex-player. I'm a streamer.
That's what you do when you try not to go mental in a year of just, hey, when will I come here?
You know
Jess V5, we'll start calling that now. That's the evolution we're going through. I don't know what V6 is going to be, but...
Hey, I'm
firing on all
somewhere.
cylinders.
All of them at once.
That sounds like Jess.
God's Jess has arrived. Here we are.
Well, we are waiting on our lobby here to be ready. So in the meantime, you talked about some of the changes that were going to happen. Of course, you talked about the map in detail. But now Flores is part of these lineups. And I think Clubhouse is definitely a map that benefits him more than most.
Yes, you know what? And the biggest part of Flores that comes into my mind that is being played also in ranked games when he first was brought in was the CCTV wall. Bandit trickers, you could get one of those Flores drones all the way in, disrupt not only the bandits or the Kaid Claw on the wall, but then you could also disrupt anyone trying to bandit trick. That's a huge possibility rather than trying to get access underneath. Use your Ash charges, use your grenades, just zoom one after the other over and over and trying to harass them from the CC window as well. It's a great little tip for that wall as well.
Would that work against the Bikini Clash?
No, probably not, to be honest.
It might
do damage,
yeah. It would do damage.
I don't know if it would kill, but...
No, absolutely not.
Not sure.
It's like a grenade.
It's one of. I spoke to a bunch of players about it in the offseason, asked me, what do you think about Flores? And the general response actually was really mixed. Some were saying, totally useless, never going to see him. Why would you take him ahead of, say, an Ash or a Zofia?
Yeah.
Others saying, we've actually dropped Ash seemingly full-time now and we're playing Flores nearly exclusively. Especially on maps like Chalet, Oregon, Cafe seem to be the big three that I keep on hearing about. Any map that has got a power position, so top of red stairs maybe is a good example here on Clubhouse. Anywhere where a defender can dig in deep, that's when you have the Flores. You have 4 attempts at getting them out with this drone. You distract them with gunshots coming from somewhere else or some other piece of utility. That drone's getting in place. You ain't blowing it up once it's set to explode. You're going to have to move. It's going to be really interesting to see its development throughout the stage.
All right, Victors, I'm going to put you on the spot very quickly because our lobby is ready. Jess?
It's got to be Guts.
Guts.
All right, there it is. It's all done and dusted. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see if our predictions will come true for this one. Jess says, thanks so much for helping us out here on the Analyst Desk. Our first live Analyst Desk from the studio. It's time to kick off Stage 2 of APAC North League. So, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our casters, Hap and M, who will take us through Map 1. It's Clubhouse, and it's T1 versus Guts. See you then.
Hey, what's up? Welcome.
It's us.
Are we supposed to match that energy, or are we?
I don't know. Are we supposed to match it? I think we should. Let's just.
They get streamers on the desk, and you don't
that's
really.
True.
It's a struggle to match them, and there are many memes that they love to throw into the desk. Hey, what's up? We're here for the first game. We're in. We're on club. We're never gonna leave it. We cycle around it all of the time, and it is that unending possibility.
It definitely is, and then it's going to be interesting to see how all these little changes we've had with this patch, of course, will be coming into play, and how impactful they will definitely be. As alluded to before, Flores is in play. Now, we might see a ban coming out, but I'm not quite sure. Or we will see it played. It's going to be either of the two.
All right. If Flores get banned, I just forgot ban. No, I can't say that because then it will. And then we won't get to see it. It's not going to get banned. Thatcher is the removal. Hey, do you remember when we did an informational video about this when we sort of broke everything down? We showed what you could remove. We showed how you could play things and how you could change things and the different ways. Hey, look, there's the new logos.
The new logos, indeed. They're more minimalistic than they were before.
Yeah. It's so suave. It's so minimalist. It's very European. Hibana? Hibana over Ace.
Yeah, I think Ace, losing the smokes didn't really help him. So maybe a ban onto Hibana is the reason why. Then, forcing them to go back to Ace, making sure that I don't know. I'm trying to find out, but Ace is not as prevalent anymore as he used to be.
Well, he was
more thermite.
He was
now.
86% or something. Previously, he was a huge sort of thing in the meta. He had the smokes, he had the ability to push on himself. He is a little bit more limited in terms of the hash destruction, in terms of the control that you can get. Otherwise, Goyo gone. That's a little bit lesser seen. Sure, it is a little bit more of a, choice removal. It pulls it out of their arsenal to teams that love to play with it. You'll sometimes see it on club against teams that are known for playing Goyo because you look at the corridor that's on basement, you look at the swing that you can have towards CC wall, you look at the top of red as well, and these sort of places where behind a team that enjoys that setup, they can do really big work.
It is definitely. Mariu quickly showed the Flores there.
That's got to be a 6.
But
really?
it has to be. Went to Jekyll, and normally that is indeed a 6 pick it back in.
There we go.
I don't know what it is, if it is to visualize the lineup right before you use it, but it's pretty often done. And the Melusi will be going to the pulse now. Of course, Melusi received a nerf as well.
Yeah.
It now also affects feet rather than just the top body. Yes, so it is going to be interesting.
Drone holes. Melusi pops through now. Bullet holes. Obviously, they're gone, but the ability Melusi can still pass through. There's also new factors to the UI that we'll explore. We'll have a look into. We'll go over those as they pop up and pop through.
And just sit there every now and then, you know. It is going to be interesting indeed, and going to be good to see how this will play out. Either way, 10 seconds left in this first prep phase, and that means we are getting underway on that bottom floor first. Replica quickly putting up a punch hole there on the jacuzzi wall might indicate the attempt for a spawn peek, or at least trying to force him to clear out the top floor, as clearly his presence was made known. Now, there is not going to be a Jekyll, so it's not going to be as easy anymore as just scanning the footsteps, as they have swapped him out for the Flores.
I am so excited to see Flores in action. I think you're always excited to see new operators when they're added to the mix. You're always excited to see what they can add. And as they said on the desk, Club is a great space for Flores, because it's very default is the easiest way of putting it. The set holds, set places and locations that you kind of build yourself around. Ooh. Trying to tap in there through great and can't quite get it, slips away, and I think that's it. So you know generally where people are going to be, and that means that the drive of those drones is way less worrying when you're going against these pretty standard default setups.
It is going to be, as Yura wants to take control here of the bottom of blue. Looking to find an entry in and taking care of some barbed wire along the way. His Guts still trying to figure out where they're actually going to be pushing from. Like, it seems like he's just doing some... Oh no, that's very unfortunate if you get caught off with the lifeline there. Somehow survives, and Nelio, well, will take a little bit of damage from the impact there, but the barbed wire will still stand. Not quite sure if that was worth it in the end.
Yeah, he was almost the opening engagement. I don't think he expected it, but instead it's Light that goes to 11. Now, 11's this player that we talked about in length, about how talented they can be and how often in the previous split they were what was grabbing T1 and sort of dragging them through all of the engagements and led them towards the success. There's the pop of some floor and the follow-up with Ash. They're trying to clear their way around to this hatch. The first C4 goes. Still one in the pocket of Kaid, so they can still just sort of play around this game. The Pulse is trying to get as much of a beat and read in the back of Church as possible, but it's actually Nelio that takes the next, and Yura goes down.
And good 2 picks right here. Only now they're starting to open up into the kitchen with a minute left on the clock. They will be able to find one, though. Replica will go down. That brings it back a little bit closer, but still a man disadvantage here for Guts Game they need to work with. The drones are coming out now, however. There is still that one Nitro left on 11, who has been having impact himself already with that opening kill. As JJ's rotating around, I'm not quite sure if they open up Dirt Tunnel at the start of the round.
And with 40 seconds, they're still trying to, I guess, formulate their way into the site. They're looking for that ingress. They're looking for that weakness, that spot. And there's the pop on the wall to get open that rotation towards the back. Looks like they're still kind of trying to set themselves up for this armory plant that they've been advertising for a long time. Dirt was open. And that smoke's going to mean... Oh, just a second too late, but they take the drop anyway. They go around the back of the box, get cut in half, as Crazy Boy's going to stick himself in with another smoke. His back is covered. They've got to just go for it aggressively. JJ is all that's left, but not for very long. T1 open themselves up with a pretty, I'm going to say, skittish first round from the attackers.
Can we almost say that they did better already than they did in their opening last time around when they met these when they met Guts here on Clubhouse? It was a very good one, actually. Able to stall quite a lot of time. They had 2 opening kills themselves to start it off with. Of course, the Nitro's not really having the effect. Also really like to see the Flores play, though, Mariu tried to pull off, mainly being used to open up the floorboards and, of course, a rotation into the back of Armory right there. Wasn't used due to the fact that everybody was basically being knocked out before they could. But there is definitely some possibility there. There's definitely thought behind it, and we will have to wait and see throughout the remainder of this matchup to see how it will be coming into use and into effect throughout the end, because we just saw 1 or 2 uses right now, and you know, not really anything building out of that one except for a little bit of vertical control, which of course led to a kill. But that could also be done with a breaching charge, for example.
Right. Oh, and I think, to be honest, this is a site where we're going to see probably a little bit more from Flores. You obviously always have the angles of those drone holes. You have the swing in around the back. If they're trying to hold the top of red, it makes it a little bit awkward, especially if they're going to lump a shield up there, as you see a lot of teams traditionally do. you can kind of get aggro against that very quickly and shut it down with way less risk than having to try and swing explosives around the corner if you've got the breach open or not, or push up from underneath. It's a much easier route because it's not the easiest swing to get that drone in the time it takes it to pop around the corner. And that's what we're sort of talking about when we say it's great against these default holes where you generally know where it's going to be.
I'm just afraid, though, that some teams might be leaning in it a bit too much, as this Electroclaw will be getting it just in time. Oh, no, just not in time. Yahtzee a little bit too late, and that means the wall has been opened up. But I was trying to make the point that just a single Mute Jammer could stop the Flores drones to just go through the drone hole to try and take out that shield or the bandit trick that would be going on. But none of that. It was a quick exothermic from JJ that made sure that the wall was opened up very early on.
Could not have been closer to the wire there to be able to just miss out on getting that wall stopped and keeping it locked off. To be fair, we've always talked about that wall that's the one that you expect it to go down. You sort of expect it to fall. It's how long you can keep it waylaid. And Lily is looking down in amongst the bar there. They're aware that somebody's playing around that space, but whether they caught the Mozzie, he is very short. Crouched behind the bar, yeah, they found him. He has some chance of a rotation there. He's still got a C4. He wanted to sort of battle back against them. Replica's not too far away with the cover. They're going to head down, keep themselves guessing, keep themselves covered, and I guess keep the rest of the map hot and spicy, because it means that this approach over that open hatch is a little bit more dangerous. You can't sit comfortably inside construction.
Trying to go for an extra claw again, and again they managed to just open it up on the side of Guts, and now we do see the drones coming out that will be taking care of these shields and of these power positions that these players might be using. And with that, the table gone as well. Mariu opens it up with the SR-25, grabbing one. Replica will reply, but in the meantime, I believe it's the flank from 11 that is soon to be coming up from the master bedroom stairs.
Well, there's a swing and a half. Drops one, the cover comes through and quickly doubled up by 11. The spray to the top of the rafters can't quite hit the mark, but they're dancing either side, and Yura suddenly finds himself with exceptionally low health. It's quick covers in 40 seconds. Plenty of time for the remaining two players to try and evaluate something, as you can see that those drones and, well, a lot of changes in who's watching who. They give themselves away. Crazy Boy lives up to his name and swings a fight he didn't need to take, with Mariu getting one more, buried himself deep inside the site. Just saved Yura. 20 seconds towards the default, doesn't quite catch it. Everyone on the team, though, just watched 11 clear that past.
He's like, you know, the C4 didn't get anything. Let's just peek the breach there, grab that double kill as he was about to go for the pickup. Now, I'm going to say it wasn't the best place to go for a pickup in the middle of the breach, but they went for it anyway, and T1 able to secure the round as a result right here. 2-0 in the lead, currently on their defensive half. It's a very good start. We're going up to Gym Bedroom next, the third site. And they might be able to complete a full rotation here, as Guts is struggling to, well, first of all, get these opening kills, because, well, they got it in this round, but straight away was being traded by literally everybody else, and lost control as a result. And that is a big thing. T1 just managed to just hammer down on them, and suddenly they were in a two-man lead, and then a one-man lead. That is something you do not want to make let happen as Guts, when you, especially not when you open up the CCTV wall that quickly, when you open up the construction wall that quickly, you take care of that shield, and then you get the opening kill. You basically have four pieces already going your way, and after that is just trades coming through in favor of T1.
T1 have done as well as they did the last time.
And we're only in round 2.
And we're only in round 2. Where they've 100% of the rounds so far. Okay, this is like one of those non-statistics that you give. They've 100% of the rounds so far. We're 2 rounds in. But a more prevalent statistic is they have matched their performance. Last time they faced against Guts. Last time it was on Club as well. It's a good thing to see this early, especially. It's a good thing for them to be able to match the sort of energy that they had, because you hoped that the changes they made were positive ones. You hoped that they allowed 11 to be able to have slightly less of the pressure on him. On his attacks, T1 could be a little bit more driven, because he would drive the attacks. On their defenses was where T1 would start to fall apart.
It definitely is. I believe, I was going to say, I believe we have someone watching the drone all here, Yeti, through, that would be catching off any of the drones of Flores to go through, would be able to just pick them up. And as the Mute Jammer now gets pinged, they might be trying to go for it because they need to take care of it at some point. Of course, Yura is playing below. Will be able to get the entry frag as well. 11 will just be caught off guard, and the wall has been opened up as well, but they still need to go all the way to Jim now. So it's a good start, but not all that's necessary.
Burns through the little spider there, and that allows them to send something in underneath. There it is, the follow-up drone to find Yeti, hopped up on the table, gives him that intel, and you can see Yura's underneath. They're trying to really position and claw and pull him out of there. Goodbye. Taken care of and cut in half on top of the table, and that opens up a huge bout of space. There's still these angles, though. You've still got to be a bit concerned for the cover that might come all the way through as they see taking care of the barbed wires in a very precarious and dangerous position. Crazy Boy is to stack up with the M870.
It's a weapon you do not see very often. I believe it was APAC that ran it quite often during SI. Yeah. So let's see if that is going to be sticking around right now as Nelia tried to go aggressive through that rotation hole, see if anybody was in construction yet. As Flores is using his drones to scout out and take out the shields as a result, they will be well aware of the fact that construction itself is clear. However, office is the big danger here. Nelio has the opportunity of just moving in and is now popping up these smoke canisters as well. There's only a minute left. Crazy Boy will take a bunch of damage, but will get a kill. So that means the highway is now under control.
Yeah, swung with the M870 onto the window there and kind of was able to re-peek, double down. A bit of a danger drone, but still allows them to pull back by a little bit more time and just cost. You're still looking at that 45 seconds, though. You're still looking at 2 frag grenades in the pocket of light, and this is that steady kind of sort of reconnaissance of information. Another Flores drone. Oh no, he's causing nightmares for them. But Nelio is actually going to try and retake. Misses the shot. JJ gets the double, escapes via the skin of his teeth, leaves just an M870. And in close quarters, it's a great gun, but it's got to be much closer than that.
Yeah, that hallway not really suited for the M870 there, and that means that Guts now will be able to pick up their first round. It was the tertiary site that T1 brought. Now, surely we'll be going off of that to go back to Church Arsenal, and indeed will choose to do so as the site lock, of course, has been lifted. And Mariu, again, straight up picking the floors. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. Round 1, they tried to hide it. They were like, you know, we're going to play Jekyll. Of course, it didn't. As they 6-picked it in.
Yeah, I think it was like, I think he locked it in and was like, no, we can do this as a surprise. Like, I know you've always said, if you've got a 6th pick, you should
use it.
Like, why not? Like, live a little. And I suppose the why not is you might accidentally make a mistake. But these guys are professional players.
They shouldn't be making that mistake. I mean, to be fair, using the floor is okay, but the Maverick, for example, you could 6-pick that in. People could not be expecting the sudden hole from the blowtorch to be there.
You know,
there's always this little surprise element you can bring.
Even if it's not a surprise party.
Oh no, not this shot again. You overshot it.
Overshot. Sometimes your sense is wrong on the day. Yeah, even if it's going to be a party, the surprise guest is what makes it more exciting. It's like if I threw your party and I didn't, I was like, Milos isn't going to be there, and then he shows up,
I will be like, oh my god.
You'd be like, oh my god,
Milos, I'm a big fan.
Okay. Quick pace and the possibility of T1 doing better than they did last time they were here. They have themselves now with still a pretty standard rotation, 4-2 on the split, assuming they have an exact repetition of the sites and how they've gone over the past 2 could stand up to the test in the meter. It's still, obviously, 11 is a few steps ahead in terms of the rest of the team, but with Crazy Boy, with Nelio able to still offer some support here with that growth, it's early days, early doors, and as I said before, the defense was where they struggled most, because on your attack, he was that tip of the spear, and here, they're able to play him in these off positions, but still have this backline, still have this cover, and this angle of where else they can set themselves up. Talking of Yeti, an old teammate is led back down by 11. They have the cover, they have the support, and they have just a little bit more safety.
Yokai drone being caught off there. Replica not able to get that one into safety. That might hurt later on, and Sure is holding off on the top right here. Might be spotting out the feet of Nelio soon. He's swapping between the cams. You can see that in that new overlay now. As Mario in the meantime are creating some rotations, able to make sure that the team of Guts is allowed to move quicker throughout that first floor. And as another Flores drone is going to be used, most likely to put up a bit of verticality here, right above the stairs. It basically gives Ash a little bit more leeway and a little bit more opportunity to use her utility elsewhere.
Who needs Sledge?
Who needs Sledge when you have Flores?
Bring Flores and his fancy
Bring the
coats.
boom drones.
Oh, okay. So the boom boom boys. Yeah, okay. Let's have a look now as we kind of pass the precipice of that final minute. We've still got everybody standing, but that's kind of how this goes for a lot of the pushes down towards this basement. It's a huge fast play space, and they're not trying to go with a tall hold. They've locked themselves in on the flat firefight. They know what they're expecting, and they know why they're sort of got this much width, because last time it cost Guts. Guts had to try and reshuffle towards dirt. They had to try and force their way through. They've gone with an alternate this time. The pressure's coming on pipes, and that's going to get pushed back by the canister. There's still 2 more of those. That's another 30 seconds. They've got to be aware of this. So pick themselves back up, head round to Moto. Look for the close corners on the door where they're still waiting.
I don't think they saw Yeti here. They might actually now on the drone. Yes, he will. And Dust will rotate out of the dangerous corner. And with 30 seconds left on that clock, they need to go for a split push here. Yura from pit. They will probably be coming in from the motorcycle and the main stairs as well, all at the same time.
Come on, you're wanting them to just swing. You can see the dance either side, and it isn't quite matching up either team. Who is going to be the first to catch it? Lily gets one. That puts Yura in a bit of a tricky situation, but he takes the first fight, looks for the second around the A case, but instead finds one served up on the dinner table. There is the revenge, there is the response, and there is only a handful of seconds. And there's the shotgun. He gets Supernova gets dropped by Lily. What was that? 5 seconds?
I'm so heartbroken. I was so excited. He gets.
That was almost a supernova clutch. That was almost for what was said on the desk earlier, where they said, "Oh, what we might see is the supernova. What we might see is the pairing in that combination." We almost had a supernova triple kill clutch.
It was alluded to.
It was alluded to.
And he used a supernova and a bearing 9, gets a triple kill, and then replica just oh no.
4 bodies swanned through Moto.
This is such heartbreak.
I can't, like, that was so close to just what has happened. And that was all you could
not
really
again, please.
Throw that. I mean, no, I want to see it again because, like, that was just, it's one of those moments where you just sort of have, like, no words. It's woken me up.
Here we go. 1,
first.
That's some range. 2, like getting down to Flores, and then the triple kill. Nice, beautiful. And then wanted to run for it. I shouldn't have gone for the security.
If he would have pulled back.
If he would have pulled back.
But how do you know at that point?
Well, why do you go for the secure?
Why? No, true, but why do you also expect 4 people to ram themselves through Moto? You'd expect, like, one of them to maybe be around A or blue.
But still, okay, so still the secure would have been never the way to go because there's no time to revive with 3 seconds on the clock. So, you know, they're dead. They'll just give some information. But he did manage to secure them both in 1 pump. I think that's a positive part. But
that was... Oh, welcome.
It's heartbreak.
Welcome. Good morning.
Welcome back.
Playday 1. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, 2-2. Guts Gaming. You're able to pull that one back. To be fair, they had a huge amount of control before that almost happened. I still think a round in that situation would have gone their way if there wasn't an exceptional pop-off. There almost was. There wasn't, but there almost was. And that still can't discount how good Guts were at getting control. They went for a different approach. They were much quicker. Yeah, he was not. Yeah, twice in a row. We've seen just a little bit of a delay there.
A little bit much of a delay this time around. Just tossed it right after a detonator already. There's no way that's going to be in time. You can maybe pull it off with a bandit, but definitely not with the electro clock. But that means that yet again, it will be Guts Gaming that will open up quite quickly. Within a minute, they have opened up the wall of CCTV, and that means that now the pressure will be coming down on construction. They will want to open up that wall as well. Last time around, there was a Aruni laser gate stuck through it, which meant they had to use more utility, but even that is completely gone now. What we do see, however, is a little bit of an opening. Now, that might lean into impact tracking, as Nilia right now will be demonstrating. That is the exothermic gone, and that means Light will have to use the gas canister to start opening it up, and that is a little bit more dangerous than just using the exothermic.
Well, can they try and burn their way through all of the barricades that have otherwise been put before? You can hear those discs being popped. Very clean removal of that wall with Yura offering the cover. It makes the space there in control a very tight replica. Gets his toes hurt, but Mary is the one that suffers the most. Nelio pops off and pops around the corner to take care of the man and construct him into the afterlife. Lily almost dropped by a C4 from underneath the hatch that we talked about before. You can see the pings are coming around the bar area, but the rotation is actually headed around to red. They've pulled themselves back in close to the site with only 50 seconds. They need to push that body advantage. They need to push the pressure now because Guts Gaming, they know that the execute is not too far away, and as soon as they start to swing themselves through, it only takes 7 seconds to plant. And now, yet again, they've got a bit of revenge.
And Nilio will go down, and that means no more discs will be tossed in. There's still one more smoke canister left that just got detonated here. Oh, Yura was allowed almost to walk in. Lily, in the meantime, deep on the side as well, able to pick up 1, 2 as well. Why did it not turn around? But it is going to be 11 though. 1 on 2 clutch. Can he make it?
Well, there's the cover from the red stairs I talked about. Sprayed through, doesn't quite get the kill secured, drops down, spins around, and Breakdance pistol kills a man to death.
Yes, good description there indeed. Managed to just quickly flick around, get that kill. And now in T1, I was like, they started us so strong. And now it's getting kind of disappointing in the way that they played out this round. Just the walking coming in from Yura, almost being able to pick up a kill. Then Lily, in the meantime, is deep in cash. Doesn't seem like they were aware. Is allowed to pick up 2 kills before the frag and the return comes in. So it seems like they're giving away that lead that they built up early a bit too much, because now Guts is in the lead with a round. And suddenly it is possible that we will be ending up in a 4-2 split here. Not in favor of T1 like we were alluding to before, but in favor of Guts Gaming this time around.
Yeah, it's sort of been a couple of rounds where things haven't quite gone their way. You could see Guts have woken up after the first 2 rounds were pulled away from them. They needed a little bit of success. They needed a little bit of glory. And then from then on, they've been able to build confidently. They were slow on their first approach here, and they were much quicker and different. They diversified their push. They weren't sort of trying to funnel themselves in via the kitchen hatch and via the other drop, because as soon as one thing went wrong, it sort of all fell apart. The confidence of Lily there to be able to just drive their way through onto the site as well. When your entry is playing as well as they are, when your entry is playing as confident as they are, it really allows you to start to build against a team that, in the case of T1, they're still sort of, finding their feet. They're still trying to keep some of the handle on the pace here to go for the even split.
They have the opportunity indeed to do so, and Church Arsenal decided to go to try and get that 3rd round under their belts, because, well, we were like saying that they're doing better now than they did before, and to some point that was, but they haven't been able to outdo themselves yet. They're still in that 2 rounds that they managed to pick up the last time around against Guts, and well, you kind of want to see them do more, especially when you get that triple kill with the Supernova, just unfortunately not the quad. Let's see if T1 can lock this off and get an extra round in. As it should be really good for them to get that 3-3 split. Better than a 4-2, that's for sure.
Well, we're going to see another Supernova moment. It's like a Kodak moment. It's a Supernova moment. And I guess you hope to see the shutter fall a little bit more succinctly for T1 in this case. Again, if you were to time this versus the last time they were making the same sort of clear, I think we've still got a growth in speed. We've still got that boost and that sort of boast of confidence now. They've built some of this momentum, and they're happy to start applying this pressure towards T1. They haven't gone with really anything off-site as well. They sort of dabbled with the idea a couple of times of playing someone in bar and pulling someone away, but otherwise they've just really kept this as quite old school. They've kept the fight all around this basement.
And there for now in light, opening up the hatch right here. Making sure that some more pressure from blue can come down. Smoke canisters though have been deployed. There's 2 left, and Yura again manages to find himself just in and able to pick up 1, just not the second, as Nelio will be able to go for the refrag, but Replica is still downed.
Yeah, he was down through the first firefight as well. He was almost gifted 3 bodies stacked up for the massive collateral, and I think it was kind of lucky there for T1 that there wasn't another body at Guts Gaming to get a quick response and a quick bit of revenge. Puts Replica exceptionally low. Means any of the swings that he might want to take around those close corners are going to be much tougher if you're dabbling with the Baron 9, or if you still got that Supernova in pocket. That's still going to be a bit risky, a bit dangerous. The impact does catch the exothermic, very well played there, and 30 seconds, the pressure's going to be on for Guts. They're looking for a single point of entry. They're looking to try and open up on the back of pipe, see if they can get in via this close corner onto Church. It's steady holes, steady burns, nothing's very clean, and it's a little bit of a tragic execution now as Nelio gets one. Mario with a trade-off, 10 seconds on the clock, and they've got to really try and make something tick very fast. Everybody is starting to find these trades, these moments, just like Left. I talked about they've been able to try and dig themselves in, but unfortunately he can't see anybody home.
Low HP there on the last 2 remaining players on T1, but it doesn't matter. They win the round and will be able to at least get that third one in. Started off so strong and had a little bit of a fall back in the middle of that half, but they managed to at least get the third round out. And with that, they outdid themselves compared to the last stage when they came up against Guts Gaming on the exact same map as we had right now. And let's see if they're going to be able to finally get that first point, because they're still without points. And it would be so good to see them finally pick one of them up at least. And let's see if they can get more than that. To start off, they need 3 rounds. If they manage to do that before the other team reaches 6, they have the opportunity to fight for the full 3. Otherwise, they secure themselves an overtime point and maybe 2. So, let's see. Second half, 3-3, an even split. Can Guts Gaming show off a better defense than T1 was able to?
Okay, now's the moment for us to see the new stretch of the T1. I know I've highlighted and said it before that their attacks were where they had this impressive drive, but is there going to be a curious new difference? Is there going to be a change with the roster sort of adaptations? And I know that both these teams have made changes. I'm well aware of that fact, but Guts Gaming, they were in a much better place on the previous split.
Yeah.
They've been a team that's been in a much better place for a while. So whether you're a fan of either team or a neutral fan in this perspective, what you're sort of hoping for is for more evidence that the change has been successful in Tier 1, because there's more of a change to make.
Yeah, sometimes the changes aren't directly the ones that are necessary, but are a setup to what is to come. But of course, we're not even there yet. So, 3-3. Let's see. So far, Nelio doing quite well. Mariu stepping in pretty okay as well. So, new members definitely doing some great work here as Mariu gets wallbang by Nelio. Talk about the 2. The drone spots out the other, and the wallbang instantly follows up. Also with the new client-side body. You saw that right there?
Body's gone.
It's just a Malusi logo and a gun.
Just your symbols. I love seeing the players they're flicking through. So if you're curious what you see under Mariu's name there on the top, you can see exactly what people are looking at. You know if someone's actually watching your flank, or if they've...
Now we cannot even give the excuse anymore. I was watching flank cam, because they will check the replay and they're like, no, you weren't watching flank cam, you were watching my POV.
Yeah.
Either way, 2 minutes left, and T1 managing to get that opening kills. Yati Crouch walks down the main stairs, hoping to catch one off guard as well. Drone is currently checking strip, currently checking the bathroom, and no one will be found for now. That means that probably the first floor will be relatively clear. And as Nelio is coming around on that bug, has that skeleton key, will be starting to open up just to get some extra angles. And as Light is playing around the corner with the shotgun, he can really not step out as they open up right above him right now. So he will be forced off, he will have to fall back. And with that, keep those smoke canisters safe, because we talk about it so often. Sometimes we just see a smoke die in the first minute or something as he's trying to go for an aggressive peek or fight, and you lose those 3 smoke canisters. It is going to be very hurting or very hurtful, depending on the site that you're playing. But for now, he is staying put, and he is keeping those smoke canisters safe.
Okay, here's the drop, and here is still plenty of time. They've been much quicker in terms of getting their feet and their boots into the ground, trying to apply the pressure onto the site itself. Replica, though, isn't met by any immediate pushback. There's a bit of a swing, though, that could come sooner rather than later. They're sort of doing the pings, and, there's no massive danger of bullet holes, but there's still these tight angles. There's still pre-fires. There's still a big awareness of where these narrow doorways are, because as soon as they call, oh, it's a moto push, that's just a door you've got to swing through, and that's a very dangerous play. Hey, that was a long-lived gate.
I wonder what was thrown through, because I didn't really see anybody that tossed anything through. Smoke canister will now pop, however, not deal any damage to Replicas. It was right in the right spot. The kills are coming down and 20 seconds are left. Right after that smoke canister, they will have to push down.
Here it comes. The wall gets popped open and JJ pops back, finds one, looks for the second, can't quite make it work. Replica is the one that digs back deep, hits light that's gone though, leaving just Yura all the way back on the opposite side of blue, slips past and goes for a slightly delayed firefight, but in a post-plant situation, 40 seconds buys him time, but also allows them to potentially try and see if they can get Yeti up. Otherwise, he is just buried behind the bar. Don't need it. T1 take their first attack.
Very good start by taking out Mariu, who was roaming around CCTV cache, and after that what you saw is basically everybody in Guts Gaming fell back towards the side. They didn't want to roam anymore because you didn't have that buddy system. It's just too, let's say, expensive to put up 3 bodies on that roam after you already lost one to try and keep control of it, so they fell back. They turtled in. And that just gives free reign for the attackers, especially from that early on. If you manage to get that kill within 30 seconds and everybody falls back, you don't have to worry about that wall complete clear anymore. And you saw these angles being opened up, the buck from above, making sure that the smoke was forced to fall back. Then the kill, or, well, not really kill, the exothermic coming through on the triple wall right behind the bar. Well, that allows you to go for a plant right behind the black box, or the mini bar that is out there. It's 2 safe positions, and if you manage to catch the smoke in the process, well, you're basically set to get that 45-second plant timer.
That's it. CC, they're not going to try and double down inside church. They don't think that... They want to keep the rotations hot. You want to keep guessing, and it's still a sturdy site. I know we've talked at length about this beforehand, where you saw it fall out of favor a bit because the percentages were a bit tougher, but... You know, if you're confident that you can lock yourself in, if you're also a team that's made recent changes, that's pulled in players, as both these teams have, sometimes falling to this side over gym and bedroom, where it's a little bit more expected, where you've got to go and where you've sort of got to be, it gives you that sort of base, that foundation to build yourself upon, and you can find more success here until you're, I guess, an easier to predict and easier to counter team, even though, as I said, you're playing around default. Hey, goodbye. Can't quite catch it, JJ.
Would have been a beautiful shot if you managed to catch the head there, but unfortunately the recoil a little bit too much for him to pick it up. Never thought I would say that from an MP5, but I said it. Wasn't able to get that kill, unfortunately, and right now T1 is trying to put up the exothermic onto the wall already to open it up quickly, and there is no utility being used to try and deny it. The Mew Jammer was already taken care of from the start, and JJ now needs to use these discs to make sure that no more utility or throwables will be coming through this breach to try and take care of, well, let's say, the players on rafters, for example.
Yeah, they've sort of doubled down with the ADSs in Wamai. They're really trying to limit any of the throwables that get popped in. As you can hear all of them burning, they still have this red hold solidified because of that. Rafters, it's still protected technically. You're assuming there's an ADS in there as well. That'll get them some more time. That'll get themselves still something to burn through. They're happier to take these active firefights rather than try and rely on the structure, those mute jammers, the plays around there, because it's a matter of time with those. And they've gone, okay, you want them open, fine. The toughest bit is going to be getting us out of the hold physically.
They're about to open up a garage, and Euro is looking for a run out, but his angle is being watched, so almost loses his life there. His Crazy Boy just misses him through the soft wall, and now Euro will have to recreate another shot just passing right by. He's being traced, he's being followed, and they will know that he's still around that side. The drone was actually hunting him in the meantime as well to try and get his location pinpointed, and as Yeti tries to take the gunfight on the man on the rafters, if they manage to pick up the kill into garage, that should be the round here for T1.
Well, they still have themselves locked in. JJ's trying to offer as much support as possible just from that precipice between the lounge and the garage itself. Actually goes wide and gets Crazy Boy. They got a little bit complacent, thinking, well, we know where they are and we know that they've buried in. Replica at least gets that quick revenge there. They've swanned themselves in underneath Yura. If this goes untested, and it doesn't, unfortunately for him, Neilio heard that approach or had the cover from the drone either way. 40 seconds, and they've been able to shut down most of this ROM. They still have the top of red, they still have the top of rafters, and the rafters has the top of them. The 416 pops down, rims round, but Replica is able to get one more onto his tally.
The fact that Lily jumped down there might lose him the round in the end because he was supposed to stay alive to make sure that Raptors was under control. And right now, Replica has the opportunity of jumping in a second. Mario, however, is still around the corner. Nitro Cell has been used. 13 seconds left. Mario is the one that can move. He is the one that needs to get this kill. The cover is there, and the diffuser will go down. Not even Nilio gets that final kill, and T1 wins the round.
There was little moments, little disconnects that you sort of saw happen across Guts Gaming. That C4 that went a bit early before they'd started to plant there, the approach onto the cover, the hop over from Rafters, as you said. It was these sort of slight disconnects between what are you doing, what are you holding, what are we working on towards as a team, which, to be fair, you can't really insult how T1 have been playing because they seem
very good.
Yeah, the cover, the teamwork there is what has really been taking them over these rounds. And so we have a timeout. I'm assuming this is as Guts Gaming going to take just a quick moment. Look at that lovely pop-up over the top. Guts Gaming, they're going to have a moment to talk. Understandably, you don't want to have this on map point. You want to at least see if you can build some success before, because you know, if another one of these rounds slips away, I forgot it would come back to us.
I didn't know either.
Hey,
but hey, we'll just sit down and
we're cool,
act
we're
like
casual.
we totally knew this, which we didn't.
This. Milosh is there.
Milosh is there. You can maybe...
Crazy.
You can see his hand. There you go. But yes, this is a very important round for T1.
Yeah.
Because if they win this one, they will finally get their first point ever in Siege.
I mean, in Siege in general?
Well, Tier 1 Siege.
In the league, yeah. In Tier 1 league. This could be their moment. This could be, and I think the highlight that we've got to give them is the teamwork, the cover that we talked about before. Their sort of coordination, the way that they're moving. We saw the push in that round alone where they dug themselves underneath Lounge. They cleared back through, and they had the swings round. They had the support that was necessary.
They did have the support indeed, and well, Guts have talked, and they have decided, you know what, let's just go to Gym Bedroom. Let's go over there and see if this is the change that we need. See if this is the side we can make work, because they haven't won a single of their defensive rounds yet. They've tried the other two, so they'll theoretically complete a rotation. However, they haven't been able to win anything in the previous rotation. So with that, an even more important round coming up for Guts Gaming. And are they going to be able to finally get their round win on their defense? Because they will need it if they want to stop T1 from walking away with points here today. Just any. One or plural.
Could be a moment. Could be a big T1 moment here. Who is it that predicted T1? It was Tim.
I think it was.
Milosh with a coin flip. The coin, almighty or powerful. Still coming in.
Tim is also a god now.
Tim is a god in our giant screens. So understandably, maybe we should have gone with them. It makes me feel a bit confident with my Damwon Kia pick that only Tim has gone for this one today as well. Who knows?
Did the coin go for it?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think the coin went either way. I guess we'll find out later. For now, we've still got to find out if this timeout, this team talk, has been something that's led Guts Gaming to a little bit more success. They have sort of had everything slip away from them over the past 3 rounds. The pace that they'd been able to build up, that momentum when they tied their 3 rounds together, was responded to very well by T1, especially on these attacks. I think that all of the pace is sort of sifted into T1 are taking the fights when they want, and it's making Guts Gaming a bit jumpy. And Guts Gaming being jumpy has made them lose that coordination that is otherwise in a new setup and a new team. Regardless of how many scrims you've had off practice, when you're on the pitch, when you're on game day, that's when you really get the stress tested, whoever you are, whatever team you are. And it's making that tougher for them right now.
It definitely is, and they're looking to take CCTV now. So Lily is just sitting here. He's hoping to hold it off for as long as he possibly can. But there's literally pressure coming down from every single angle you can imagine, but below. As currently there is no verticality into play yet. Grenades are being tossed in that will force him to move, and well, I think that is his butt sticking out, and yet he will pick him up as a result of it. So that is going to be the entry here for T1. And Mario trying to challenge it, trying to make sure it doesn't go from this to worse. And as Light picks up a single kill, he will be able to make sure that it stays balanced for just a little bit.
Yeah, Cash is sort of exploding all around, but it's the pop-off around the top of red that finally gets him. Nilio has the cover, has that angle open, and they have a minute to try and take more pressure with this 3 versus 3. A steady approach with Meryu being the one holding the tight angle, trying to play a dangerous game here, but nobody wants to play it with him. The big opener on Jacuzzi is going to make things a bit more kind of worrisome. Is that a frost mat under the construction window? 11 has to sort of spot that and pull that out of Yeti's favor before it lands in his feet. Go on, hop through.
Uh-oh.
Do it. Do it, do it, do it.
I mean, there is Gemini. It's just going the wrong way.
If this goes unchecked and this catches them, I guess it's one of those moments where you don't really know. You assume 11's going to bounce the grenade around. They're trying to get JJ out first before they go for the approach. It swings around. They're looking for this man. 20 seconds left, and JJ drops Nelio. In the meantime, it's still this bout of pressure. Yeti has the diffuser, hops in via the bedroom. They're looking to see if they can stick it, but they can't because there's a man still in that bathroom. And Guts Gaming take the timeout and take the next round.
Magical timeout working wonders here. Able to pick up the round right after. It was in the tertiary bomb site that they managed to win, and that might give them a little bit of confidence, you can say, going into these two, because these should be their stronger sides. Church and Arsenal and CCTV cash, and for now the choice will be made to go to Church Arsenal to try and find the equalizer, to try and bring it back to a 5-5, to make sure that still T1 will not secure any points here today.
I do like how they decided that gym bedroom was where they could try and pull around. They obviously had freeze rain on any sides. They
everything
could have gone anywhere else, and they decided to sort of keep their rotation going. They wanted to go to what is for a lot of teams an offsite, and they made it work. They found that success there after a timeout with everything open. They thought that would be the strongest. So I guess my curiosity is raised now is, what are they going to bring here on a site that they've already lost, that they haven't just, was there discussions about the play here? Did they just want that bit of momentum and that bit of energy from a successful round win? Then they think that's the difference, and that's the carry on. It's going with another tall extension. We lost Meryu very quickly on this push as well. He was just gunned and beamed through the wall from a pre-placed drone. So is there going to be a little bit more support for him to play up here as well?
Or just don't go there.
I mean, he's playing Vigil, and they're mute jamming
True.
across the top floor. So I don't think that's
he was playing Melusi the other time around.
Yeah, he's opted for a slightly different role. He's picked up the Vigil. You still got that mute Mozzie combination, which is always this top extension.
Yeah. Are they going to go 3-man roam then in that case? That could be a bit dangerous if that gets spotted, because just look at the amount of hard breach available. Replica, Crazy Boy, they could open up anything very quickly, and if they realize there's currently 3 people offsite on that roam, you could just very easily make sure that you overrun that site, and there will be nothing they can do, because by the time that they will be back, you might already have both kills and the planted down. So 2:30 are on that clock, and for now T1 still seems to be very invested in actually taking this top-down approach. Let's see whether or not it will work out as well. Ooh, need to get a Maverick up there.
Yeah, they've got a little bit more busybody work to do.
So
I guess
far away.
How much time can get burnt in this as well? Obviously, they lost the body very early. Last time they were here from the pre-placed intel, which they've rectified. So now I guess we get to see the full motion with the change of the Vigil, how much time can be wasted and how much time can be burnt. Because this extension isn't just about getting kills. It's about wasting as much time as possible. If you saw the way that T1 held the site, it was entirely flattened down there, and Guts was still pressured for time. So if a team is quick, you can extend over the top. You have the ability to rotate down. Usually it's a bit too wide to cover both the sort of blue drop and the main stairs too. As you can see, they've been able to pull back, and there's a minute 30. And now T1 is still trying to find their way in, but there's still a Guts Gaming player above them.
Just one. I think it's 2 players right above them. One on the red stairs, and they have it, one in construction. So there is still going to be a lot of pressure coming down here as JJ will be taking the first gunfight, but will be caught off by 11, who now will be peeked soon by either of these 2 players. There is the Vigil right around the corner. Will be able to pick him up. Meryu able to bring it back and rotating back to the bottom floor, making sure they can turtle in. Now they have the equal number count.
Yeah, that was a very good response. It was one of the things that we sort of highlighted that T1 were doing better before. And to be fair, that opening was good. They had the cover from CC down across the bottom of Lounge and across the bottom of Garage. But Guts Gaming were there for the response. They didn't just let a kill happen and try and fall back to, rectify the site. They went for a bit of revenge before they went for the rotation. They tried to take the fight, it took T1 a little bit by surprise, I think, because that's not really how Guts had their approach before throughout this game. 40 seconds and for the pace that T1 had before, this has obviously been slowed by the hold that was on the top stairs. They're missing a bit of their aggression now in the hands of 11, so they're going to see if they can pop round, but it's Meryu that actually gets the double against Neilio. This grenade on the close corners does perfectly take care of Light just as that canister was about to go off.
Now the big issue is that there's no more exothermics left to try and open up that wall with, so they will have to go through Motorcycle, create another opening, and as 10 seconds are left on the clock, all the utility you can imagine is being tossed in. Crazy Boy will be able to pick up the kill right underneath the table, but there's going to be the diffuser kill from Lily. Comes around the corner, swaps off at the wrong timing, 2 seconds left. You need to plant now, Crazy Boy, there's no other option. Guts will win it somehow.
You have to pick up the diffuser now.
Oh, you have to pick it up with a button.
It's not an auto pickup.
Oh no, that could have really lost him the round. Oh, that lost him the round right there. All right. I was like, you should have planted it, but probably when he pressed F, he picked up the diffuser and then got confused, like, why is nothing happening? So he should have pressed F again. So there's going to be a lot of Fs in the chat now.
A lot of Fs in the chat, but not enough on his keyboard.
Not enough on his keyboard, indeed, to get that round win in the way. Of course, if he would have gone for that plant, he would have been quickly... he would have been pushed, right? It's so casual.
It's very, very casual here.
But yeah,
for me at least. Yeah, no, it's a little moment. It's a little moment that's cost them in a big way. It's a change that's come through.
It's frustrating
from that. It's a frustrating moment for now. It's learning and reevaluating the moments. There's been a couple of head-scratcher moments, I think, for the compliments that we're giving them. It's still obvious that these are two rosters that are fresh together, that are still sort of finding their feet and finding their wheels. And I think it's obvious in those little stress moments, those lapses of communication, like swinging the wrong way towards the pipes when they're entering round from the opposite side, like the sort of misplay there on the body that was coming through underneath 2, and the couple that we've seen from T1 as well in the cover that was coming through. But then it's punctuated by these big moments, these big teamwork moments, these big sort of drives of just the sheer gun skill of this region as well.
Don't forget Lily just walking in there. I believe that was with the Melusi. It was. I had a Rudy in my head for some reason, but I knew it was Melusi because it was the MP5. Able to pick up that double kill, dropping the diffuser as well, and of course was picked up right after by the Maverick, but Crazy Boy didn't press F enough.
Didn't press F enough.
Didn't press F enough. Lost the round.
It's always a tragedy.
And even if he would have pressed F enough, it would have been 7 seconds that he could have been peaked because the timer was literally on 001.
Yeah.
So
how long is the timer to pick up a diffuser now? Is it?
Well, I think it's instant to pick it up.
Yeah.
But then you need to press it again to start planting. It will take a little bit.
I never know this because for my stack, I carry the diffuser on the way in.
And you don't die.
That's a nicer way of putting it.
Okay.
It's just I don't die, sure, but in the real world, I die, so I'm never the one that's trying to re-pick up the diffuser. I leave that. Unless I play with Tim. He's the diffuser man. Okay. Diffuser man, what can you do? Get this wall open. Very quickly, get yourself an angle. You've pulled it back to a balance of 5-5 in the case of Guts Gaming. But T1, to be able to swing rounds before, they did find some momentum back after there was 3 rounds threaded from Guts Gaming. Now they're looking at 2 that have doubled down. So, can they replicate the success they had on CC before?
The thing is, it was very, very garage heavy. You can almost... Oh, that's a good flying drone. That's probably how they caught off the rotation we saw earlier on when they tried to challenge the garage. But the point I was trying to make is that they wanted to open up garage, and, well, this time there is going to be an Electroclaw that they will have to deal with. And that means that they will have to use the breaching torch to open up. And that's a little bit more dangerous because it allows a player like Yura to just sneak up and shoot you in the head if you open this up completely, like will be the case right now. They have it. The kill comes in. Crazy Boy will come down. And there has been no opening. And that means garage is going to be even so more difficult to try and keep in control.
Replica has hopped around underneath to...
It's almost done as well.
Yeah, sort of say, hey guys, you finished the job down here, but oh no, we've lost our Maverick. The Maverick was the first one that's gone, which means that this is going to be a bit of a wider swing. They're going to have to go against the door, see if they can pop that jammer as they've found it. So Lily is now under a bit of intense pressure. They have the ADS, they have the ability to catch anything that starts to swing their favor. I'm not sure if there's any discs stacked up around that area too, but otherwise they've still got cover, they've still got support. And last time, one of the things that we said was they were under the pressure and they hopped out Oh, Yura takes a very long firefight all the way down towards the stockroom on the far side. The rotation on the door does catch them, though. Great play from Nelio.
Great play indeed, able to quickly rotate through and make sure that the pressure stays on. And talking about the pressure, it will be on soon. 40 seconds on the clock, and this round will decide who at least gets their point secured and will have the opportunity to fight for 3. And as Marius goes for a swing, he'll be taking quite a bit of damage. But there is no garage control this time. Everything will have to come through from this breach and potentially from construction. And I don't think it's going to be working for T1. They will have to win every single gunfight, and winning that one would have been a very good start.
It makes it so tough and tricky, but being able to move in behind that firefight, they suddenly lose.
Oh,
the
no!
others can't quite take it. The top of the stairs stays solid. Just drop the honor at the same time. That really should have been the Bucks' kill, but Guts Gaming have clawed their way back towards map point. As you said, they've secured 1. If you're unaware of how this works, if you get to OT, you're guaranteed at least 1 point. If you win OT, you get 2 points, and if you win outright, 3 points. So T1, they could take 1 round to have a chance, but
they need a point so desperately.
And Guts Gaming,
and not just 1.
Not just 1. Well, they need a lot of points, but it's still, you know, if you look at this in terms of a statistical showing, it's better than what it was last time these two teams met. It's still, both these rosters are fresh rosters. As I said, I think in some regards the play that's a bit obvious. And it's the stuff that gets ironed out as you play more. You get more familiar with each other, you get used to the calls, you get used to where each other's going to be. That stuff takes a little bit of time. There's no instant fix to gel a team together, unfortunately.
No, definitely not, B. And Guts, they managed to bring it back and looking to snip away every single point that is here to be gained in this matchup. They're the ones that have the opportunity. 1 more round is what they need currently to do it. And they need it in this round, because otherwise we will be going to overtime if they lose this one. And then the maximum amount of rounds that you will be able to gain and pick up, points rather, is 2. So a lot on the line here for Guts. They want to start off their stage strong, and taking a win here against T1, right in your first game, would have been a very, very good start. Unfortunately for T1, they looked so good. It looks like they might be losing out on any points here today if this round doesn't go their way. So let's see if they can deal with the clash, because that is the big change-up that is being brought by Guts Gaming. So, as the clash is being played, he will surely be taking care of CCTV cache. Just be oppressive there. Make sure that there will be no way in from T1 from that side, forcing them to go for Jacuzzi.
The clash, obviously, the pickup and the adaptation here. They're going to see if they can buffer them back. T1, they were a little bit slick early on, and they've been slowed and sort of tempered and held back from sites that, I guess it's lessons learned by Guts Gaming. The same things that we sort of said, why are you doing this? They went, why are we doing this? And they answered their own question by showing not hopping over the balcony, not trying to take those fights. They played a little bit more cautiously. They've been able to play a little bit more reserved on the top floor on the hold here, and Clash is the ultimate end of that. As they sort of realized that they were throwing themselves into firefights and they were getting caught early. And, you know, when you always have this question of why are you doing this, and they answer it themselves by saying, we tried something and it didn't work. This is the adaptation, this is a slowdown, it's working very well for them.
There's currently 3 people around CCTV cache, and as I say that, they're all falling back. Of course, Lily and JJ going into the office, and Light is back into the bedroom himself as well. That means the CCTV cache and construction have all been completely abandoned by Guts Gaming, but T1 has also abandoned the idea of attacking it, of taking it in control, and that means that, well, they might be losing a bit of valuable information, a valuable room and space here that they could use to cut out these players one by one, as they're all turtling up around and in the site right now.
Okay, still loads of time. T1, loads of time to try and make something happen. The clash is the big concern. They've isolated themselves inside logistics, hoping for the push to either come from constructions that just got popped open, or maybe from the hatch itself. Either way, it allows them to have that bit of a buffer. That's slow, and they can't quite easily swing around. 3 grenades still in pocket, though. And that could be the next bout of pressure. Frostmat's and a Euro that hops out to a new location, a new place. The first grenade goes around the corner, gets burnt. The second doesn't get anybody. I'm assuming it removed that Frostmat as well, though. Replica is the first one to actually find the confrontation, but is quickly met by the clash.
Uh-oh.
Misthrown flash unfortunately adds a few precious seconds into the pocket of Lily, who's able to dig their way up another burn, and they're out of pocket right now. There's finally another flash, it goes past, but they're just going to hold that click, hold that electricity, and GG hold the line closer to the aforementioned double tap inside chat right now. 4 versus 1. Crazy Boy digs his way through, finds 2, but with 4 seconds, a clash on the board and a diffuser far away. It is Guts Gaming taking the 3 points. It didn't look likely at some points. It looked a little bit misshapen, but credit to them, they were able to buffer back a much better T1 to finally find success.
A much better one indeed. And if you then think back all the way through the start of the round, you saw that Supernova triple kill, that could have been a quad kill there, that would have been able to completely change this around. And so many of these plays that we saw could have made sure that T1 would have been the victors here now. But Guts, with an incredible comeback from 3 to 5, able to shut it down right after their timeout, making sure they are the first winners in stage 2 and will be for now on top of the board.
First points on the board. Congratulations. Can you make it last? I guess that's down to you. That's not on us. It might be up to the analyst desk, though, so I'm going to throw over there and see if they hold all the secrets. Take it away, Milos. I can see you now.
Yes.
It's cool.
It really is pretty cool for us to just look at one another. You have